You mentioned an underground civilization, and I just did actually a documentary about Peru where they have these beings that have 3 fingers, 3 toes, and they're mummies. And it looks like they're coming out of tunnels underground. And there's even speculation that it's a global civilization. There was a being found in the snow in Siberia, and it was right after actually a UFO appeared in Irkutsk, where a lot of people, the villagers of Irkutsk, said, "We see a UFO, we see a UFO." There was a bright light, it seemed to be a crash. And then 2 of the villagers, these 2 students, found this Russian, this little snow alien is what it's called. And that's actually, I wouldn't be with you today if I hadn't had covered that story, because Marshall, I basically said, if anybody knows these guys who saw the alien, get in contact with me because I want to see whether it's real or fake, or what's going on with this being. And because the being looks so much like what I saw in Peru. So I wondered if it's like some global underground civilization. And so my question is, do you think there's some underground civilization that's maybe as advanced or more advanced than human beings?
Well, I don't just think, I am sure, I know. Even Baba Vanga told me. Sometimes she would point down with her finger and say, "They are talking there. They are there." And I asked her, "Who is there?" I thought she meant the people who had been buried. No, she said, they live there. That was the kind of conversation we had. And I know some scientists who study caves and rocks. When I was in the Caucasus, when I was in India, in Tibet, in the Altai, they found traces there, places where someone lived, or where someone still lives and comes out from there. For me, this is natural. In some books and studies, it is written that deep down, all the way to the core of the earth, there are civilizations there as well. They live there, maybe in some different form. Scientists keep discovering things. There was a volcano recently, I forgot which one. Lava was erupting. And in that magma, they discovered living beings, microbes. So there is life even in that molten mass. If these microorganisms exist there, then other forms of life exist as well. Fairy tales and legends did not appear for no reason. There is the Kalmyk epic called Jangari. It was passed down from generation to generation. It's not just centuries, but even millennia old. And it was passed down not in writing, but through songs, through these ancient tales. And in the Jangar epic, the underworld is described, how creatures live there, how they communicate, how they come to the surface. Sometimes they don't come out, they get recorded. That's how it is. Well, it needs to be studied. That's why I say governments should seriously pay attention to this and officially allocate funds. But it's not just governments. There are also many businessmen, including American ones, I know, who, so to speak, direct money towards studying these extraterrestrial civilizations and civilizations that are underwater. It's quite fascinating to observe. We're launching cosmic vessels, sending satellites to Mars, to Venus, way, way out into deep space, aren't we? Yet we can't construct an underwater device that could descend to a depth of 10 or even 11 kilometers. Quite remarkable, isn't it? Because it's getting torn apart. We fly into space, to the stars, but here on Earth, on our own Earth, we go underwater for about 8 kilometers. If you take the Earth's crust, like an apple, just imagine an apple, then the Earth's crust is like the peel of that apple. And the rest, down to the Earth's core. How many thousands? 40,000 kilometers, is that right? How many different beings, different civilizations live there? There are many, and they also fight each other there. They set rules, sometimes coming to the surface.
When John Paul II said that we are not alone in the universe, do you think he was referring to extraterrestrials?
I don't know. If I could go back to that conversation, I would ask him in more detail. Sometimes, when speaking with great people, I feel happy that from an early age life brought me together with such remarkable individuals and geniuses as John Paul II, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Baba Vanga, Sai Baba, and many others. Henry Kissinger, other presidents, unusual people, scientists, Joris Alferov, a Nobel Prize winner, a very strong physicist, you know. These kinds of minds, the greatest minds, real geniuses, all of them said we are not alone. So how do we understand that? That means, we are a part, it seems, of that grand thing called the universe. And there are energies. But people, sure, they're beings. But we often look at it too narrowly, as if intelligence can only exist inside a body. Yet take ball lightning. Ball lightning appears out of nowhere and then disappears as a flash, right? So it comes from another dimension. And lightning, that ball of energy, that's also a kind of living being. And our whole universe is made of dark energy and light energy. The universe exists through the interaction, even the sort of struggle between light and dark energy. And our universe exists inside dark energy. What is it that holds the planets, the constellations, the galaxies together? We're sitting in this black mass where it's zero, where it's nothing, where this dark energy is. But it's alive too. It kind of breathes. And that whole idea of yin and yang, man and woman, angel and devil, right? The Almighty, all of that. The black and the white, the constant opposition. Just like in chess. Black and white squares, black and white pieces, all of it. And we need to see our life as a whole made of light and dark. And like they say in Buddhism, and like scientists say too, thought is material. When you think about something, it can manifest. But it's the energy itself that manifests. And that's why we need to do more positive things, good things. And our thoughts should be good and positive. The more our thoughts are directed towards something positive, something kind, something bright. And what is the light? It's light itself. God is light. God is love. So if we start loving each other more, as humanity, loving our planet more, then people will begin to generate more light energy, meaning positive light energy. And we'll start to shine. So if 8 billion people all at once started thinking about kindness, about love, about compassion for one another, the earth would sort of glow from within a bit. This white energy would appear. And for God, for the Almighty, He has so many planets like ours, billions of them. He doesn't really have time to look down at Earth. If suddenly our Earth, through positive thoughts, good thoughts, bright thoughts, gives off even a tiny spark of light for a second, God would glance at it, and that would mean we received God's blessing. When we come to church, we ask for God's blessing. We ask for God to look at us. And when all of humanity thinks about something good at the same time, then God will look at our earth and will live well.
Who do you think in the world knows more about this subject than anyone? Is there one person where if you could interview them or ask them questions, you think they might know more about extraterrestrials than anyone else? Is there a scientist or world leader?
Every person, you as well, the cameraman, anyone at all people are experts, all 8 billion. And after I said that I had met them, a lot of people started reaching out to me. People wrote letters, called me, emailed me, from Japan, from America, from Africa, from everywhere. Many thanked me, said thank you for saying it. Now we will also say that we met them. So in every person's life, there are moments when they saw something unusual. Maybe a craft flew by, or someone slipped in. Someone came into the room, walking around, and you don't understand who it is. Is it a little ghost? Or who is it, right? Some kind of invisible being. So every day we run into some sort of miracle. People don't talk about it because they're afraid of condemnation, of criticism and all that. But in reality, everyone, all kinds of experts and ordinary people, starting from a simple sailor, a farmer, a worker, a scientist, an astronaut, a pilot, a submariner, everyone has had cases of contact. That's why I'm saying we need some kind of unified program, a program under the United Nations, one that would gather all this information, summarize it, work together with artificial intelligence, and then develop, well, probably a common approach. We need to come to the idea that we should have a common constitution.